New York City was instrumental in changing music as we know it today. In the early 1970s, New York City became the birthplace of hip hop. Hip hop was not only a musical experience, but it became a subculture. Clive Campbell, also known as DJ Kool Herc, was born April 16, 1955 in Jamaica. However, he spent much of his life in the Bronx. He was known as the man who started the building blocks of hip hop.
My name is DJ Kool Herc.
The music spun by Herc is different from the stuff most DJs are playing.
He would take two records and spin it back and forth in the same spot, so it just prolonged the break beat.
Herc's style catches on, and not just with B-boys, but with MCs who use the break to pick up the mic.
He talks now with the rhythm. He rhymes a little bit here and there. And just, you see the development start. Now I kind of want you to give me a story. And the next thing you know, all of these people are actually rapping.
People went there to dance, and then it became something where people had to listen.
They were partying their pain away. They were speaking their pain away. They were using music to be an escape from the oppression that they were undergoing. And that's what hip-hop was born out of.
Hip-hop, the phoenix rising out of the city's ashes.
You would go into some very rough neighborhoods, but the energy was amazing. You felt something that you couldn't feel anywhere else. So this began to replicate itself and got bigger and bigger.
A musical revolution is brewing in these Bronx basements, and it's about to explode.
And new beat techniques. Herc also invented the now commonplace DJing technique of breaks or break beats. For example, he would play James Brown's Give It Up or Turn It Loose on two turntables and would spin one of the records back to the break repeatedly. Theodore Livingston, also known as Grand Wizard Theodore, was a major contributor to the creation of hip-hop. He was born in the Bronx on March 5, 1963. He also incorporated breakbeats into his music. He added another technique, though, to the hip-hop toolbox, which was called scratching. Then there was Joseph Sadler, or best known as Grandmaster Flash. He was born January 1, 1958 in Barbados, but also spent much of his life in the South Bronx. Grandmaster Flash was best known for his song The Message, which was made with the Fabulous Five. Flash began experimenting with turntables and records at home. He invented what is known as cutting, which is achieved by playing the same record at two turntables at the same time and cutting back and forth between the two turntables to repeat a phrase or sound. Another Grandmaster Flash innovation was backspinning, which is pulling the record back so you can make it repeat. On these new beat techniques, MCs started speaking rhymes over them in between the beat breaks, which is known as rapping. Not only did these DJing techniques invented in the South Bronx form the basis for the hip-hop we know today, they also started coming up with a new kind of aggressive dancing, breakdancing, or back in those days known as b-boying. Hip-hop historian Marcus Reeves says that bustling energy that laid the groundwork for today's hip-hop culture came out of gang culture in the 70s. This was really a way for the youth living in poverty and surrounded by gang violence to feel as though they had a voice and for them to be able to express themselves through a new form of art and culture, which is hip-hop. These gangs sprouted up all over the Bronx due to widespread urban decay, heavy arson activity from slumlords seeking insurance money to the lack of basic services like law enforcement, firefighters, sanitation, and health. With 19.6% of NYC's population being in poverty and 27,012.5 people living per square mile, people are living on top of each other and trying to make ends meet. The overcrowding and dense population within the city have grown over the years, and it makes an impact on how the children are raised. Multiple ghettos that are caused by the poverty levels and thus increased gang violence. Some of these ghettos or projects would include places like the Pelham Parkway houses or the Castle Hill houses in the Bronx, or even the Baisley projects in Queens. The New York City Council Gun Violence Task Force reports that 44% of shooting incidents occur in just 11 police precincts, and violence is concentrated among youth ages 14 to 24. The NYPD reports that crews are responsible for approximately 30% of shooting incidents. Homicide by firearm also happens to be the leading cause of death among young adults between the ages 15 to 24. This may be in direct correlation to not only gang violence, poverty, and overcrowding, but the fact that 160,000 of young adults between ages 18 and 24 are not attending school, working, or getting a higher education. By far, the Bronx has the highest crime rate and the highest rate of poverty, but it was able to take all of the negative and create a piece of art and culture, which is known as hip hop.